our comparison set today is different. We see the Kardashians, and now all of a sudden we want a freaking jet. And it's like, but is that really what's going to make us happy?
Welcome back to the Dark Work Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Trucks, and I'm excited today to bring to you Mel Abraham. Now, Mel's a friend of mine, a decade plus now. He's got a really cool life. You're going to love unpacking and hearing as we share. But here's the big thing. If you're in a position right now where you're finding yourself struggling with, say, money, or maybe you're struggling with relationship type situation, or what do you do with your life, you're going to hear some amazing examples of what he did to navigate this, to get to the point of really sharing his life through a great filter that we all battle. If you're having money problems, he says you don't have money problems, you have money symptoms, which are based on behavioral issues. You're going to love that conversation and kind of having a chance to look at yourself and mirror that. But one of the things I also love about our conversation is the focus on his cancer, his issues with his kid, his marriage, all these things, his career, and a realization that a lot of the things we are given as issues in life, and I say given as issues, they're not problems that happen because we did something, but because we're meant to do something. Which is a real good reframe that I think we all need to take into account sometimes. So as you get into this episode today, be prepared to see his own dark work experience and what it did for his life as young as, coming fresh out of college, all the way through to where he's at in his life now. If you can see that through line, you'll understand how you can take these nuggets of information and apply them to your life to create something amazing as well. So without further ado, let's get into the episode. Hey, welcome back to the Dark Work Podcast. Well, welcome into the show. We have today a good friend, not even a great friend, we've known for ever since I entered this industry. I've known this individual. Humongous hearts, great person. You're going to find out a lot more about them from their own mouth. But without further ado, I'm going to welcome my friend, genuine friend, Mel Abraham. How you doing, man?
Oh, Anthony, man, I'm doing great. It's so good to be here and see
crazy,
what
right?
you're doing.
It is nuts, like this little studio. I said,
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's kind of a cool spot. So you guys don't know this as much, but me and Mike, when I first got into this thing, I was just a guy in a seat at an event, and Mel has served individual, runs these events for many, many years. And so I was a guy that just showed up, and I don't know if you noticed, I had these weird cream cargo shorts and a Superman shirt.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, I got the pictures, man. I was like the only big black guy running around there with cargo shorts and a Superman t-shirt. Hey, we got to start somewhere. But today I really want to dive into what allowed both of us to get where we're at here. I really want to find the parts that give these people that are watching the sense of understanding what a dark work is. Yeah. The real purpose of this show, in my opinion, is to have people understand the benefit of a dark work experience.
Yeah.
What you go through that rewires you through hardships, positives, like at a neurological level, a psychological level, to be who you are, so you show up and you can accomplish what it is. Because everybody needs to go through a dark work experience. We've already gone through some, but most people just do it haphazardly. I think majority of us do haphazard, but if you do it intentionally, I think there's a whole lot of beauty behind it. And we'll get into your book, which definitely was a dark work experience for you to get that done.
Oh yeah.
But we always start the show with kind of framing up your awesomeness, right? And what you see as some of the most beautiful parts of your life. So we actually, before we got on the recording and started hitting, record on this, we were in I guess you'd call it the lobby chatting about this. I think it's a great way to go in. Would you mind sharing with the people, what is your life like now? What are you doing? Because I want people to follow and pay attention to folks that are living in a way that they may aspire to, or at least admire the people's lives.
God, I mean, I'll be the first one to say I feel completely blessed this life. I got trained as an accountant, and so you're going to school, going to be an accountant. There was no way that I imagined that my life would be where it is today.
Yeah,
I mean, I live in a beautiful home right on the water with a beautiful wife. If anyone ever questioned whether I can sell, just take a look at my wife.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah.
It's way above my weight class. It's like, oh my God. But I get a chance today to decide. It's what I call a get-to life. Mm-hmm. I get to decide how I want to live my life, how I want to spend my time, how I want to spend the moments of my life, because I did some work in the past, because I was open to opportunities, but I was also willing to run the miles. Yeah. And so I get a chance to serve people. I get a chance to help people. My primary focus these days is helping people build their business, but more importantly, build their wealth so it builds their life. Not separating, we can have wealth, that's fine. We can have wealth in the sense of big bank accounts, but I know so many people that have big bank accounts, but they live bankrupt lives.
Yeah, I know them too, man.
And it just,
It's crazy.
And they wonder, from the outside they look really good. They got the jets, they got the cars,
Everybody
they got
wants to be them,
Yeah. And everyone wants to be them. But yet when you get to the inside, they're miserable.
Yeah.
They're miserable because their identity is wrapped up in a bank account. Their identity is wrapped up in a chase or an accomplishment and everything, and there is no richness in their life because they're not experiencing life. And I went through mine. Truth be told, I wasn't exempt from it, and there was a lot of realizations along the way to realize wealth is different than richness, and how do we make sure that we do not disconnect life from money and really build it. And I look at it and I say, I get to experience life with beautiful people doing beautiful things in beautiful places. I'm thinking
it's pretty good, man. It's not bad at all.
Yeah.
It's people always ask me, like, what do you think success is? And I'm actually, in the beginning I used to think it was freedom, which is what you're expressing. You have freedom.
Yeah.
And I go, but people are free to choose food that'll kill them. They're free to be in jobs they hate, or free to be stuck in relationships. There's freedom. What they actually lack is control.
Yeah.
And so I've always found, like, once I got this realization, like, control becomes my goal. Can I control my sense of self? Can I control what I do and don't have to do? Can I make a decision that may be a hard decision to make, but I'll still make it? So I have control. And so what you're telling me, what I'm hearing, at least through my ears, is like, you have control, which is awesome. But this isn't, I'm assuming, always the case, right? We all, like you said, there's journeys and levels. Was there a time for you where, like, this lifestyle was just a dream, but not even a reality for you?
If I was really honest, I'm not even sure it was a dream. I'm not sure that I actually even thought it was possible.
Okay.
Because I came out of school originally thinking I was going to follow the accountant's path.
Yeah.
It didn't take me long to realize that, nothing against accountants, but most accountants are freaking boring.
What's you want them to be, though? I think you want like the pencil pushing, 4 eyes. Not to knock all the accountants in the world, because I know there's cool ones, but like in my head, I'm like, I want that person to be locked in if you're taking care of my money.
But I thought I was just going to be this career guy, just work the hours, continue to work the hours, become a partner, and it was going to be the same thing every day, in and out. So I don't know that I had this dream of doing this. I always knew that I wanted to be successful, but I don't know, because you brought that up, I don't know that I took the time to say, well, what is success? Because
what are you working for then? Like, what do people, because I'm sure a lot of people are doing stuff is just to check boxes, which is the thing to do. Why was the accountant direction the one you went then?
Well, going into college, Mom wanted me to be a doctor.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
It didn't take me long to realize I don't like the sight of blood, so there's going to be a problem there.
A little bit.
And then someone said, go into business. I go, what? I don't, business. And they said, accounting's a good degree. So I literally chose it because people influenced me, not because it was a love, not because it was a reason, not because of anything, but they influenced me. And by the time I realized what it was as a profession, I go, I don't want to do this. And so at that point, what I had to look at, as I said, okay, but I have a skill set now. I have a knowledge base. How do I take that and do something that actually lights me up?
But didn't you have, like, anybody that you were pushing against the grain? So if Mom wanted you to be a doctor, what was the conversation like with her going, I don't want to do that? Was it easy? Were there people that were against the direction of this new thing?
If I had gone to become an art history major, there would have been a push against it. The fact that I was going into accounting, or if I was going into accounting, engineering, or medical, they were okay with it.
Okay.
Where there was pushback, though, if we go a few years later, when I finally said, I'm done with this profession, I feel like I'm being wasted here. It was a Friday night. I was working late again, downtown Los Angeles, looking at the skyline. It's 10 o'clock at night, and I look in at the partner that I'm working for, that I was doing a lot of work for, Tom, and here's this guy who is overweight, he's stressed out, he's accomplishing, he's achieving, he's doing, but I don't think he's happy. And I look at it myself, and I see my reflection in the window, and I go, that's my life. That's my vision. And I said, so being a somewhat spontaneous, I literally walked into his office and I said, hey, Tom, I need to talk to you. And he said, what? And I said, I'm quitting. Like I had no plans.
No
I had
consultation
nothing.
Anybody, huh? Just rocking.
I just said
change
I'm
it all
quitting.
up.
He says when? I said now. I said that's why I'm here now.
Oh, wow.
And so like that's when I got the pushback from my parents and everyone going, hey, what do you mean you're quit? What do you mean? And like, I didn't know what I was going to do. I just knew that I wasn't happy. I knew that if I stayed there, because there was a threshold I was going to pass. I was on the verge to become a manager, and once you get past that, you start pricing yourself out of the market, and now I'm locked in. Mm-hmm. So I had to get out. I didn't know what I was going to do.
So what'd you do?
2 weeks later, I was in Japan. I cashed out.
Oh, this is where you learn all like this, the skill sets. You guys don't know, but Mel's a dangerous human. He carries around this little stick. I don't know if he has it here with him now.
No.
That if you find him with this thing, he will shut your body down by like tapping your pinky toe. It's crazy. No, I'm not even joking about this, by the way. Legitimately. So you're in Japan 2 weeks later.
2 weeks. I cashed out my 401k, which I like.
Oh man.
It's completely against what I would recommend today. I
Yeah.
cashed out my 401k because I said I'm going to Japan. I'm in this small town 2 hours north of Tokyo, training twice a day in this small little dojo under a master who is 17th generation samurai bloodline.
Okay.
I mean, and trying to find myself, trying to figure out.
How did you find Japan though? Like,
Well,
where did Japan come in? You could
so
in Mexico too, right?
Yeah.
Like, how did you get to Japan?
Because I had started in the martial arts,
Okay.
and my instructor had lived in Japan for 8 years training under him, and so I said, I want to go train under Soke. Mm-hmm. And he goes, all right, I'll set it up.
Yeah.
And so I just cashed everything out, and my everyone's like, well, what are you gonna do when you get back? I said, I don't know. I'll figure it out when I get back. I don't know when you come back. I said, I don't know, when the money runs out.
Yeah.
It's like,
That's a different way. That's fearful for people. But it's funny. It's like that's kind of how it is. That's what I did.
Yeah.
Like I was like I had a gym. I was like I found this new speaking word. Like I'm gonna go do that. They're like, how you gonna do that? I was like, I don't know. They're like, how you gonna make money? I'm gonna figure it out. But there's a diving in. I'm not recommending that everybody does this, but there's something to just jumping and going and trusting it.
You know, I didn't have kids at the time.
Okay.
I didn't have all the responsibilities. I wasn't in a relationship. I didn't have all of that. So there's a difference, because I hear a lot of time people say, well, just burn the boats. You're committed. I go, well, but there's a difference between being committed and being reckless. If I had kids and bills and all that, and I just up and quit, that's committed, but it's recklessly committed.
Yeah, I get it.
And
I agree.
And so I literally took off and trained twice a day, and and it was, and the training in Japan in a small little town, when I'm one of the only non-Japanese there, is a very different experience. And I should have known, because you walk up the path, his house is here, the dojo's here, and just on this side of the road is the cemetery. I'm like going, it should have given an indication what this training's going to be like.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So
how do you? I mean, it's a story, but like there's so many people that don't have the ability. You're in a foreign country now. Yeah. You have no plan. You have no structure. People are looking at you like you're crazy, right? I think that's the journey for a lot of people. Not that definitive journey for people that are doing stuff. That it's going to be the difference in a great way. Because obviously it led you to here. We'll find out more about how it got you here. But what do you say to the person who's sitting there looking at a Bob, or Tim, looking at a Tim right now in your life, and like they're looking at? Because I've always talked about identity work that we do with dark work. It's more so wrapped in the concept that you can do a lot of habitual things. Yeah. And it can be great habits in your head. I can follow, this guy does this and he does this, and you follow this person, but you never really pay attention to who they became. And if you don't adjust the perspective, I think, or tighten the filter, you might do all the habits to become somebody you don't want to be.
Yeah.
So it's a journey to get there.
There's something I call expectation association.
Okay.
Where we associate, we bring in the expectations of others. And it could be from career, it could be from degrees, it could be from siblings, parents, society, media, the expectation of what our journey is.
Yeah.
And the expectation for me was this path to partnership. And this isn't about how courageous I am, but I think that the tendency is, if there's this angst that's constant aching, that's tugging at you, which is what was happening to me, is like I was working hard just because that's my work ethic.
Yeah.
I would work late because that was my work ethic, but I wasn't happy and the thought of doing that the rest of my life and saying, well, I made a decision to get a degree, and therefore this is my sentence, just pained me. And I said, I have to find the courage, and I knew that I would get the pushback. I knew that the partner, he says, you're totally screwing up your career by doing this. You're on fast track to partnership. And my response to him, it was a flippant response, but it was real. I said, I get it. I might be doing that, but if I'm going to do it, at least I'm young enough to fix it.
True.
And so I think that as we go through these times, if there's going to be times you're not happy, there's going to be times but if it's this constant aching, pulling, nagging, yearning, man, I think we need to pay attention to it.
I think you have to pay attention to it. And even the fact that like there's some people we'll look up to, we'll ask them questions about stuff. Like I've always been, people will consult me on questions and advice or stuff, and I go, I'm going to tell you here, like, I'm going to give you what works for me, but if you ask anybody else, they're going to tell you the best thing, and the best thing is going to be what they do. So when a person goes, fast track to this, a lot of it's just them, in my opinion, justifying their situation through you. So do this and do this because it's going to be great for you. Because if you don't go that track, I bet Tim sat back and goes, oh, am I doing the right thing too? And it's tough, but that's sometimes the reality you have to go through. So you obviously go to Japan. I'm no longer there.
About 4.5 months, 5 months.
That's it?
Yeah.
I thought you were there for a couple of years.
Well, no, then I went back every year.
Ah, gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. You do this, you come back, you're a stone cold killer now. What's the next progression, right? Because that doesn't translate to teaching money in the money machine.
I fell back on what I knew. So I went back to a firm, but I didn't go to one of the large firms. I went to a small firm where I could decide the path that I wanted to take.
Okay.
So now I said, all right, while I was in Japan, I started, and I knew that my trip was coming to an end because the money was coming to an end.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, I got to get back to reality. How do I pay bills? What do I know? And I started to do an inventory of what are my skill sets now that I have? What are the things that I can do? And I put them in a column. What are the things I don't like to do? Put them in a column. And then I tried to connect the skill sets that I had to the things that I could do for other people, because I knew that's how you get paid. If I could fix other people's problems, help other people with my skill sets that I enjoy doing, then it's a good match. And that was the start of it.
That makes so you went away 4 or 5 months. That's genuinely a dark work experience, what I call it. You went away. How were you different when you came back? Besides the skill set, who were you were you different as a human? Do you have a different perspective, a different sense of confidence? Because I get the idea of like I can serve people and do stuff. I think that's more of like the left brain. I want to know like the right brain, like the heart of you. Like how'd you kind of flow through the days?
I found myself more at peace and calmer in flowing into having this, I don't know, a quiet confidence about I got this. Whatever it is, I have it. Whatever comes my way, I can
Dominator's identity, my man.
Is that what it is?
So it is. It's literally to dominate means to govern and control.
Yeah.
So do I have the confidence and the sense of self to govern and control myself, even in heightened situations? That's I'm loving that. That's beautiful.
And when I went there, I didn't have that.
Yeah.
And it obviously, I think that a lot of it had to do with the training that I went through.
What was that like?
Huh?
What was that like?
I was training 4 hours a day, 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the evening.
Yeah.
And it's this, and we did, it was very hard. I mean, like an example, I had a phobic response when someone would try to choke me. Okay? And so their solution, Sensei Soke's solution was, one day I come walking in to the dojo, and he says, we work on chokes today. Oh, you could just see the sweat. I'm just, and so what does he do? He gets the biggest guy in the dojo to get on my back. Now the beautiful thing is, thank God I was in Japan, because they weren't huge. But literally, this guy chokes me out, and I'm passed out.
Oh, passed out.
Sensei wakes me up. Do it again.
Oh.
Passed out again.
Yeah.
Third time, passed out a third time.
Yeah.
I'm getting ready for the fourth time, and he whispers to me, he says, you want to keep doing this? I go, no, Sensei. He says, you got to find peace. You are fighting this, which allows them to win. Mm-hmm. He says, you need to fight your own fight. You need to find that space. And that's when I finally, I was able to just relax and say, okay, let what's going on here alone and allow me to say, where's my strength? Where can I move? And start to feel. And now I got out of the choke. Mm-hmm. But that was the transition. But the way they trained there was very, very different. It wasn't coddling at all. I mean, if we did this in the U.S., it would be abuse.
Yeah. You know? He'd be shut down.
Yeah. But there was things like if our stances weren't right, he would walk around with a shinai, which is a split bamboo. It's the practice swords and everything. And if our stance wasn't right, smack on the shin. Mm-hmm. You know, and then it hurts. Yeah. And so there was plenty of times where he would put us to the edge of whatever we had. We had trainings where there were a night of 1,000 kicks. Okay.
Sounds fun.
Yeah. I mean, until the morning. It's like, you know, and so he would put us to the edge of where we thought we had limits, and then show us that the limits aren't there. And I don't know whether it was consciously or unconsciously, but that's where I think that quiet confidence came from. And if I look back now on life, there were so many times that served me to be able to say, I got to find that space, I got to find that place again to be able to navigate this.
Man, that's awesome. I get that, because I think that's the I think it's the underbelly of all the people that are confident. It's the hardships that they went through that tells you, like, oh, I survived. Yeah. I could do more, you know, and then you can take that, and I feel like you can reapply that confidence somewhere else. Yeah. So when you come back, you're like, oh, this is numbers. Ain't nobody choking me, you know. It's simple and like and affable. It's like, oh, it's, you know, loose, and it's the truth though. Yeah. It allows you to show up differently, and even when things go crazy, like around me, football was my way of doing it. But when it goes crazy around me, I can settle into, like, I'm almost more calm when heightened situations take place. Yeah. And it's not because I'm not aware of it, but it's like, oh, I've been here before. My brain goes to a place it understands, and it's like, oh, we're good here. I have a relationship with that, and if you haven't been there, it's different. And then I think what happens, because you don't know what it's going to be like, and you don't know if you trust yourself in those situations, we're afraid of entering them.
I totally agree. Yeah. I mean, it's almost like other people's chaos become our peace.
Yeah, it's nuts. Yeah, there's a lot of different situations. My wife and I were at one point at a Starbucks in Oakland. Just go with it. And all of a sudden, my wife notices this guy pulling out a gun out of his pocket. He's in line, 3-4 people in front of us. He's looking out the window, he's pulling a gun out. My wife sees it, and she kind of nudges me, and now I see it. And it's a gun, it's clear. It's like, you know, 7 feet in front of me. And then she's freaking out already. And then I just kind of take a look, and as I look out, I can track his eye line. It's going outside. He's looking at someone across the street breaking into a car. And then my assumption is his car, because he yells out like, hey, he just says, you know, which drew my attention. He looks, she's freaking out. I go, he's not here for us. Like, he's here for the guys. So he goes outside, and I'm like, everybody, you know, come walk around like the bend in case a bullet goes flying. We're going to be hidden by a wall at least. So I get him around the bend. I'm kind of peeking out, but she's, you know, but I'm like, not that I can handle the situation. Like, I'm not a gunsmith, right? No. But I'm like, I'm okay in this situation. I can think through this without freaking out. So I do want to dive deep into all this stuff, because I know there's a progression I want to get to of how we got to this amazing book, which we're gonna unpack this book a little bit more after the break. So yeah, let's dive in. Let's take a real quick break to hear from our sponsors.
Where are you falling short of your full potential in life, and what is it costing you? See, one thing we rarely measure is the cost of our inaction. See, there's so many things set for your life that if you don't lean in and get them done, they're going to pass you by. And the truth is, it's not because you don't know what to do. It's because you are not at the level to do it. You cannot attain or sustain a vision for your life above your current identity. But what is your current identity? What should you do to make a shift in that identity? Well, the goal is you have to do the dark work, but the right dark work. To figure out where your identity is now and what dark work you must do, go to darkworkassessment.com, take the assessment, and let it clear the path for you so you can find out how to shift into your dominator's identity with a mentality of, I have done too much work in the dark to lose in the light. Darkworkassessment.com, figure out where you're at, Let's get back to the episode.
All right, so we're back with Mel, and we're going to dive deeper into his story. I want to hear more about you come home and you go to this you go back to the thing that you didn't like in the first place. Yeah. Which is interesting. Like, you're not supposed to go back to your ex, Mel.
No, you're not.
I did that, though.
And it worked out okay.
It worked amazing. I love my wife. I got amazing. If you guys don't know, my wife and I were divorced for 3 years, and then we got remarried. So always time we see jokes coming out like, don't back to your ex. I'm like, I did it. It worked out. I'm going to let you guys have that conversation. So we come back, you go back to this smaller firm. You're re-engaging in something that you left in the first place. Why did you go back to that?
I went back to it, but because it was a smaller firm, goes back to what you said before the break. I had control.
Okay.
I had the ability to decide what I was going to do, who I was going to do it for, and how I was going to do it.
That makes sense.
And so that was part of the negotiation with me going there. And I went to the smaller firm with the plan that I would become a partner within 12 months.
Okay.
And so I became a partner within 12 months, the managing partner 12 months later. So I became that controlling managing partner within 2 years. Yeah. So it allowed me to navigate and decide how I was going to run it and how I was going to do. So it gave me the control. So I wasn't on someone else's ride. Mm-hmm. And so through that is where I started to try and develop the skills, which kind of starts to bring us to where we are, because at the beginning, I'm in a small firm. No one knows me. Mm-hmm. We got projects at the big firm because of the name of the firm. Yeah. But now no one knows me. And so I'm trying to meet with people, meet with attorneys, meet with folks to send me clients, especially because what I was doing at the time was I was going to be an expert witness for financial matters. At trial, put people like the Bernie Madoffs of the world in jail and things like that. Mm-hmm. And these attorneys said, well, you don't have any experience, testifying, so we can't hire you. Yeah. And I'm like, well, I'm an accountant. I can do the math. If you don't hire me, I never get the experience. Yeah. And you're not hiring me because I haven't got the experience. So how do I, circle. So we're going back a lot of years, pre kind of internet. Mm-hmm. We didn't have the technology we have today. And so I said, well, what's the next best thing from testimony or cross-examination? So, well, speaking. So I, on a whim, just said, I'm going to start speaking, allow them to see me speak, ask questions, see me articulate answers, and see if that
gets in there,
bridges me across. And I did some other things with press releases and articles and stuff like that. But by and large, it was the speaking that all of a sudden they stopped asking. They all of a sudden they saw me on the stages and speaking at these conferences, and they stopped asking. Yeah. And they just presumed that I had experience. Mm-hmm. I still didn't have the experience, but they hired me.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. And but what happened with that is
that's dark work, man.
It was and then just someone said to me one time, "Did you know you get paid to speak?" And I go, "What? You get paid to speak?" Mm. And so I started to look at the speaking industry as a whole and say, there's actually a profession, there's actually an industry that allows us to do this. Not a whole lot of accountants do it, Yeah. And so I started to look at it and say, okay, I have knowledge, I have skills, but I need to develop these other skills because if I want to be a good speaker, I need to be a powerful communicator, I need to be influential, I need to think about how do I train, how do I teach, all those things. So I started to take additional courses and get involved and get coaches and really start to refine it. And a lot of my colleagues, and by that time we brought on 3 other partners into the firm. Mm-hmm. A lot of my colleagues going, what are you doing? I'm traveling all around the country speaking at conferences, but it's bringing in clients, it's building reputation, and it was increasing my value in the marketplace. Mm-hmm. But and this kind of goes full circle, because my partners were so tunnel vision about what the career was going to be like, they came to me at one point and said, you're going a different direction. This isn't what we do. Yeah. So we don't want to be partners with you anymore. Mm. Shoved me out the door.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
So
that's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah. I mean, I just bought a house, so I'm $300,000 in debt. Yeah. That was the same year I became single full-time dad with my son. He came to live with me at 5.5 years old. Yeah. And I have no clients, I got no cash flow, and I got no work backlog.
Dang, it's the darkest hour, huh?
Oh, it was one of the darkest hours for sure.
Well, maybe I get you. We didn't go all of them. So what do you do now?
So,
that's a stack. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's enough to turn you into an alcoholic, I'm sure. Many people, unfortunately.
And I think that there's a pattern from what I realized is that there's a moment where the shock of it freezes you.
Yeah.
And you're going, I can't believe this is happening. Can't believe this is happening. But then once we get past that, there's another moment that the only word I can come up with for it is acceptance.
Okay.
That once I accepted the fact, instead of me pushing back saying, no, we can be partners, we can stay in this marriage, we can repair the marriage, and instead of me pushing back, once I was willing to accept it, then I felt like I was empowered to find the solution.
Yeah.
And so at that point, I got on a treadmill basically and said, all right, I'm going to do what I did at the firm, but now I'm going to do it for me. Mm-hmm. And I was fortunate in the sense that one of the big catalysts that triggered this was I got asked to go speak in Arkansas. I'm a California kid going to Arkansas to speak to 350 attorneys, and they looked at me and said, we're never going to get work from Arkansas. You're taking time away from the firm. Mm-hmm. And I said, I'm going to speak in Arkansas.
Yeah, still going to go do it.
Yeah. So before, when I get back, I'm stepping off the plane back in LA, I get a voicemail from an attorney that was in the audience and said, when can you come back to Arkansas? I have a project that I want to talk to you about. Mm-hmm. Flew me back out there. Landed a $25,000 project.
Yeah.
Because of that one speech.
There you go.
That was the thing that carried me, and I said, all right, there it is. That's why we broke up, and this is kind of the grease that would get me going, but now I had to parlay it.
Something else. I get goosebumps, man. Literally, can you see him? Because in my head, I'm going like, this is it. This is the thing people don't realize. It's like I've always said that there's like a moment we get to of like the deepest, saddest emotion, and all we really want to do is just curl into a ball in the corner. It's the last thing you want to do is take a bold action. Emotionally, you don't feel like moving. It's like, I want to go outside. But it's in that moment you got to do the most bold thing.
Yeah.
Like, so you did that against even the way your body probably felt. And people telling you, don't go do that. It's not going to work out, Mel. But that becomes a pathway to something different.
I did work in Arkansas for 15 years.
Really?
For some of the wealthiest families there.
Wow.
And it became probably one of the biggest. So, and I talk about inflection points.
Yeah.
You don't know which moment's going to matter. So you need to give each moment the reverence it deserves.
That makes sense.
And so yeah, then I think I'm doing good. Yeah. Doing good. Here comes the next boulder from the hands of a 6-year-old boy.
Oh yeah.
I got money's coming in, and all of a sudden he comes running in, my son, saying, Daddy, I drew a picture of you. Mm-hmm. Here I am in front of 2 computer screens with a phone in each ear. Mm-hmm. And I go, oof, I'm screwing up. And you went through it with your kids, it's like the greatest gift that we were given is to be dads, to be parents, and I was screwing it up. And I in myself said, I have to find the solution. And this is what kind of gave birth to where I am at the hands of a 6-year-old, to sit back and say, I have to do business. I have to do money differently. I have to be able to choose, to be able to put my time where it really belongs, and that's creating a rich life for my son.
I love it, yeah.
And that's what gave birth to the concept of a money machine. I didn't know how to build it then, but that's what started the journey. Yeah. And so that was at the hands of a 6-year-old.
I remember this whole conversation, the picture, because it is when you have this feeling of like you're not present with your kids, it's heavy. Because I think our conversation in our own head is like, I'm doing it for my family. And I was at a point doing it for my family until I lost my family, because on my schedule there was no family time.
No.
It was just work, and then like they're at home and I'm making some money, and then at the end of the day, like it's like there's nothing there. I think one of the reasons why I'm very sweet at conversation earlier, like I'm settled in who I am, is because I lost it once. Yeah. And I know what it means to not have that, to be doing some things and running fast and building some, and then like you said, you're bankrupt. You may have a lot of money, but you're not actually building something at home. So how does somebody do that? Because I'm looking at this book knowing, because we have a conversation about what's in here, how it builds. Because this book about building your money machine, right, which you guys should be able to get when this comes out. It's not about making money just to be able to have yachts and and have Gucci belts. Like it's more.
It's way more, because it's money philosophy, it's life philosophy, it's money practice. It is wealth creation, it's personal finance, but it's wrapping life in it. Yeah. I don't think we can separate our money journey from our life journey. When we do, that's when we find misery. Yeah. Because we're never content, we're never grateful, we're never appreciative of what we have, and it's what's the next thing, what's the next thing, what's the next thing. Yeah. And we keep watching the zeros and the commas and all that stuff, and we're wondering, why are we not happy? Because we're not in our life.
Yeah.
And so how do you use money as a tool, which is all it is a tool to create richness in your life and the lives of the people you love. And that's where I wanted to go, because it's what I was able to do.
Yeah.
Is that I truly believe I live a rich life. Now, I live a wealthy life. I mean, I've made plenty of mistakes and lost a lot of money, but I don't have private jets. I don't have all that, but it's really rich with the people, the friends, the love, and the experiences.
Yeah, the time, the health, it's all there. Which it takes a lot of dark work to build these things, right? Because just because you want this, like we were talking earlier, like it's not about having the book. It's not about somebody buying it because they get what I call shelf esteem.
Yeah.
They get it, put it on a shelf, right? It's about doing something with this stuff.
Well, and it is doing something. And this, when it comes to money especially, and this hits people hard when I say it, because I'll say no one has a money issue. No one has money problems. They have money symptoms. They're symptoms of decisions, habits, and behaviors of the past. And if we want a different situation, we have to change the behaviors.
Yeah.
And this comes to that dedication and the dark work and all of that stuff. If we are living solely for today and not taking care of tomorrow at all, because I'm just going to live today in the present time, we're forsaking what we want most for what we want now. Again, influenced by social media, media marketing, all that stuff.
Comparison, people.
Rather than saying, what's the life I want to create? And letting that inform the choices rather than anything exterior. And so we want to build wealth. It's a behavior issue. It's not a money issue.
It makes ton of sense, dude. You're summing up how I've learned to live my life the last probably 7-8 years, because that's it. Yeah. Like I know what I want. I'll tell people I'm in season of dad right now. They go,
I love this.
Dad? It's just my way of going. The guiding North Star is my dad. Like I'm a dad, so I'm here now. I'm looking forward to getting home tonight, working on stuff for my son, and then tomorrow I got stuff for my son in the morning. I got stuff for my daughter. Like my oldest son, he's running right now. He's when we're recording this, he's at he's in California, SoCal, running at a school called Mount Sac for like these big meets. And like
I almost went to that college.
Yeah. So that's all I want to do right now. It's weird to say it, but like that's all I want to do. But in doing, like as a dad stuff, doing the things for my kids, part of that is showing that you can live a really cool life by serving people. So everything I do is still in service of my children in the same way, but that's my North Star, man. And it took a lot of loss to actually have that gained knowledge.
I think that the word that comes up, and I use a lot, and I use it in the book, is I don't want to tell people not to buy, not to spend money, not to do it, but I want them to be intentional with how they spend their money, with how they spend their time.
Yeah.
And when you're intentional, now all of a sudden you're intentional about your relationship with your spouse, with your kids, with your society, your community, whatever it is. But now that's a life of choice because you were intentional. Yeah. Too often we leave intent behind and we're along for a ride.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's true.
And that's why
it's chasing the demon of money and,
oh my God.
And the keep up with the Joneses. I think that this is the one part that I think is not one. There's probably many. One of many parts that I think is a negative of social media, which is you're presently aware of all the things you don't have. When I was a kid growing up, I didn't know what a kid in Arkansas had. I didn't know. I knew what the kid next door had, and if I lived in this neighborhood where we didn't have much, cool. We all ain't got much,
You know, think about this. I heard someone say this the other day. I don't even remember who it was, but he says when we were growing up, we would want a little nicer, bike.
Yeah.
That was our comparison.
That was it.
But our comparison set today is different. We see the Kardashians, and now all of a sudden we want a freaking jet.
Yeah.
And it's like, but is that really what's going to make us happy?
No, usually.
No.
I mean, some people it is.
Yeah,
It's
I
just
get
a
it.
certain level of human, but
Yeah.
then if you're on your jet alone, man, it's not that great. Or if you're on your jet, you're sick or whatever it is, like it's not a good help.
And when it comes down to it, I think life will slap you in the face. And it did with me in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's when the power of the money machine really came clear. Because in 2019, life was good. I was with you. We were running around. We're masterminding. We're doing things, flying back, and and I get off of a private jet, a G5. Not mine.
Yeah.
And 2 weeks later, I'm in a hospital bed.
Yeah, I remember. That's the big shift for you.
Yeah, and they say, you got cancer.
Yeah.
And you might lose your prostate. We might have put a bag and a tube in for the kidney. And if it's bad, you're going to lose your bladder. So a whole life. It didn't matter how much money I had. It did matter how much money I had for a reason, but it didn't matter because now all of a sudden, whatever we thought, they tell us our days are numbered.
Yeah.
They are. They are.
Really.
And so our job is to live them to the fullest. And in that moment, I said, what mattered? I said, all right, I got to shut everything down, and I got to focus on this fight. I got to focus on life and everything, because I wasn't scared of the cancer. I knew that it was going to be, it can be painful and horrendous and all that. What was causing me the angst and the pain was I honestly loved life so much that I wasn't ready to let it go. And that's the thing that hurt me. Yeah. That's the thing that pained me. That's the thing that I said, my wife and everything. I joked with my wife. I said, you haven't, we were, at the time, we were married, 9 years. I said, you haven't served enough time to get out on parole.
Right.
So, but I knew I had to fight.
Yeah.
And having the money machine allowed me to say, I'm going to clear the decks. I'm going to shut everything down. I'm going to let that support me.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about savings account. I'm talking about a cash flow stream that allowed me to just live our life and say, I can choose the doctors. I can fight the cancer medically, physically, psychologically, but I don't have to fight it financially.
Yeah.
And our life changed, but it didn't change financially. And I can't imagine what it's like to have to make a living during the day and fight for your life during the night, which I didn't have to do. And that's where I saw the importance. So at the hands of a 6-year-old, it was born.
Yeah.
At the hands of cancer, it showed me the importance of it.
Yeah.
But I was struggling. My struggle with the cancer was I was trying to figure out why. And then,
I love those conversations. We had a couple of them.
Yeah, we did. I was in a dark place. I was. I ate well, other than a sweet tooth. I didn't smoke. I didn't drink. No one in my family had cancer. I had no. So what I was doing, I was looking in the past. I said, who did I wrong? What did I do wrong? Who? There was got to be something or someone to blame. And I remember walking on the beach and having a conversation with a friend, and he said, you keep looking in the past to try and find the reason. And I said, yeah. He says, what if the cancer wasn't because of something you did, but something you were meant to do? Then what? What's the message? That's what gave birth to the book and this whole new season of my life, is to start to look at it and say, what if our why for what we do things isn't actually behind us, but it's in front of us? Because then I get a chance to define it.
Yeah.
And that's really how I was able to sit back and heal from the cancer and say, that cancer was actually a positive in my life.
Yeah.
It gave me a gift to say, who is Mel Abraham, and how can I put this out in the world and make sure that I have a positive, indelible impact on people's lives to serve? And what was I putting? We're all here, I think, with a unique gift, and our job isn't to take the gift to the grave. Our job is to give the gift to the world, and I think that this was the message for me, to give the gift to the world.
I get it. I agree with it too. I think at one point we had a conversation like, hey, I got this idea of this thing. I go, dude, do that. Like, it makes a ton of sense as you do it. But I love it. I love this concept because for me, I'm always looking at this and people, paying attention to hear and extract what are those experiences we go through that wire us and pretty much make us who we are, right? Because it's just a sense of you go through this and it makes you who you are. And sometimes what I'm hearing is it helps you become more of who you're meant to be, which is really, I think, why we do have to lean in. But if you don't lean into what you did, in the places where it's scary, in the ways that it's difficult, I mean, to be honest, you could have given up, but you're like, no, I got to, and so you fought. Now you're living a great life, giving this back to the world, and it's something awesome, man.
I don't know if it would have changed the outcome, but I remember I just read an article about Patrick Swayze's widow.
Yeah.
And the day he got diagnosed with his cancer, he evidently turned to her and looked at her and said, "I'm a dead man."
Oh, man.
And I go, there was no way that I was going to say that. I think that I want to believe that we have more control than we give ourselves credit for, and those words were not going to come out of my mouth. I love life. I'm going to do everything I have. I'm going to leave a mark on anyone that's trying to fight me.
Yeah, I think I love you just said that word. I get them goose pimples again because I'm looking at what I've written down and I go, "You're a fighter, man." It's like we may not notice it, but I'm seeing this through line of like this situation was given to you as a way to become the reason why you do something, but you were given this opportunity of all your life leading up to things not being what you wanted to do, things fall apart, you disappear in Japan for 4 to 5 months, then coming back, and your son, like all these things were giving you the situations that you needed to be able to have the muscle so that when this was, I say, provided to you as a situation in life, you already knew how to fight. It was already who you were wired to be. And so you came out of it the way you were probably supposed to come out of it, and then doing even more with it now to give it back to the world. So, man, I appreciate you for being Mel Abraham, showing up in the world. Where can people come and find more of Mel and this book when they want to get it?
The book, they can go to yourmoneymachinebook.com.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm all over the internet, Mel Abraham 9 on IG and all that stuff. To know that I'm impacting lives is the gift that the cancer has given me, and that's what I'm called to do.
I love it. I always conclude with a question that I've always been worried about bringing it back over to this podcast from the previous one I did, but I'm gonna do it anyways because I like it. What promise did God or the Creator make to the world when they created you?
I think that the promise they made was that there's a guy that will stand in your corner and fight for you, and try to light the way to what's possible in your life.
I like it. Well done, man. I appreciate you. Love you, bro.
I love you too.
Genuinely. You guys got a chance to hang out with a very special human being. Here's the thing. If this episode in some way touched you, or you know someone who's going through something that they need to hear these words, share the episode with them. Hit the link, send it to them. Just let them unfold and unpack the different information, because sometimes you're too close to be able to make the impact you're supposed to make. Also, if you garnered something unique from this conversation that you believe could benefit you, do that thing. Like, you got to go and try. You got to try to do new things that don't feel comfortable, to do your own dark work to actually build into something cool. And if you are in a position going, man, this is cool, I want to create something amazing, have a cool story like Mel's, you got to go through your own dark work experience. If you go to darkwork.com, take the assessment, you'll see that it guides you down all the pathways to be able to yourself, in fact, go through a coaching process that'll deliver to you your own dominator's identity, a sense to govern and control. But last thing is, you got to go to yourmoneymachine.com, grab Mel Abraham's book, which you're going to get a chance to see into his heart, but also into his head. And he's got some cool stories he told me, but you'll find out more when you go grab this, about the workbook that goes along with it, so you can actually apply this stuff and not just have it be what I call shelf esteem. Information on the shelf of your mind that doesn't get put anywhere, but you feel good because you bought it, but now you actually can feel good in your life because you're living it. So that's it. Man, go out into the world, do something cool, but always focus on working in the dark so you can shine in the light. It's Anthony Trucks and Mel Abraham. Signing off.